Hey, this is Gavin Palmer. My handle is right in Gavin Palmer. Your attention is the most valuable resource in the world. That's why I don't subscribe and follow people who ignore me. And I do subscribe to the Friday Morning Nameless, Chad the Alcoholic. And he released a video this morning which had a focus on Jordan Peterson. And in the comments, I had accused Jordan Peterson of being someone that I cannot connect with, therefore indicating kind of an incompetence, an inability to shoulder the responsibility of doing the best job possible. And Chad responded, it's like, I take it you haven't watched the ARC video yet. And so I went and watched the ARC video. I recorded it. I'll put it in my Discord server. Maybe it's 2 hours. Just me doing my thing. My ego pops up sometimes. I try to keep it in check. But I'll release that as an unlisted in my Discord server. But my takeaway is I'm an expert at information technology. I can be helpful in tech support. And I immediately notice when Jordan Peterson talks about things like transparency and what I would refer to as crowdsourcing or decentralization or subsidiarity. When he talks about monitoring information, when he talks about these things, he does not know what he's talking about, like I do, like an expert. That's one thing that concerns me. I responded to his survey and, I pointed at, maybe we can unite around the idea of providing clean water for all people on Earth. That's a vision that I suggest. And then maybe in order to provide clean water and clean energy, we look at the convective heat engine. And maybe in order to do things like maybe we need to be able to identify the right people for the right role with the right responsibilities. Like, we need to do that because everything we try to create as a team of people is going to be limited by the people in the organization. It's limited by our ability to receive feedback from wise people. And this is an information technology problem. So every team of people aiming at anything good that requires a large amount of people requires and depends on the team doing the information technology. And so I use this word righteous. And when I say righteous, I mean right. Those who are avoiding errors. And that's relevant to goals, right? Goals, roles, and responsibilities. And so when I use that word, I know it can be confusing, the way I speak. It's one of my weaknesses. I'm not a good communicator. So I submitted my responses to the survey, and then I found out there is going to be a voting on the responses, which I think I'm cautious about that because I would prefer you could identify people like Temple Grandin. And I identify as someone like Temple Grandin. She's older and has more experience, and she specialized somewhere else. So it'd be nice to be able to analyze the data and say, how many architects, how many innovators, how did the architects and innovators vote? You could compare that with how did the artists vote and how did everyone vote? So that would be useful in my opinion, because Jordan Peterson talks about how good and how good the foundation is that we have. And I give a lot of credit to the people who have received revelation about the nature of reality and the way to innovate technology using pre-existing revelations about the nature of reality and previous innovations, building on each other to transform this world at a exponentially growing faster pace. Like, I really value those people. They are the prophets. In my view, they gain access to the revelations. And so, we might call those people innovators. And so I want to know what the innovators think. That's why I question democracy and would encourage collecting more metadata such that we can ask more interesting questions of the voting. And that's me. I'm tech support. And my concern is I'll get ignored. And I noticed just immediately I entered my answers for the survey and I did not receive a receipt. No email confirmation that my answers were received, no text message confirmation. So my sense is that this has some excitement behind it, which can cause people to rush. And when you rush, there will be mistakes. And you can even do counterproductive things when you rush. And so Jordan Peterson is scaling from some group of 30 people, like he's scaling from some finite number of people. And my question would be is there a chat room with some number of people? Is it 30? Is it 100? Is it 500? And now is Jordan Peterson attempting to scale to the world? That seems rushed, scaling to the world. And then I'm concerned that the people he has relationships with there is no way that he is connected to the best expert in the world. That would be like winning the lottery, and so his information technology team and his information technology people, they're not the best in the world. But yeah, that's my concern, is that when I say identify the most righteous people and put them in positions of power, it could mean identify people like me in tech support who could be integrated into the technology department, right? And you can do that for everything that is important, because every big goal has sub-goals. And I'm just saying information technology is a sub-goal of whatever your goal is. So when there is no opportunity to volunteer as an expert, that is an indicator that something has not been learned yet. Something important has not been learned yet by that person or by those people. So I've run that test many times, and that's why I'm not holding my breath. Hey, but it doesn't mean that it won't happen. And I know I'm not the best. So, but I also know that I can see the mistakes with regard to the information technology that's being discussed and being used. And the question is, will I be ignored as an expert in that field, which is very important? Will I be ignored? And that's the indicator of whether or not it's an indicator of how quickly this thing can succeed. It's an indicator of how much waste there will be. It's an indicator of how much counterproductive activities there will be. It's an indicator of how efficient and productive it will be. So these are just indicators. And Um, you know, if if enough people within that group, the ARC, the ARC, develop the right spirit of humility, they will begin to ask. They will begin to see the importance of the tools and the importance of the tool makers, and they will begin to ask for help, and they will even begin to ask for help about the way we ask for help. Right? So that's my take. I don't even know if I should share the longer version. I hope y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.